by Impulse. So if they win, they get to play them next round. A little bit of revenge on their mind, but both teams have to focus on this last game.
They do.
See if that Azir ban comes through as the last ban for Gravity here, because everything else is still stock, standard. And it's a Maokai ban here.
So the Lulu gets put back in.
There you go.
The Azir is left up. All right. Because we usually say that Azir kind of sits above your top mid laners, and then you have your mid laner. There's a little bit of a gap there. That's for everybody, really. So this is very interesting to see that go through. Incarnation can have quite a safe mid lane game.
Yeah, it might be another victor here for Keane, though, which may be part of the bait, right? You make sure that Incarnation is not taking away your victor. He's on Azir, so you get it for yourself. And Gravity can go back to a different composition. Ooh, do it.
I like to see some lead plays coming out of Move. He definitely tries to take control of the game, and that's exactly what Hai just did. The Braum going to be one of the first locked in if they decide to take that away. This has been Ashe Gragas consecutively for the last few games now, and it's been C9 first picking the Braum. So you see the priority here for both teams.
Yeah, first picking the Braum. Now that they have the Azir, the Braum goes over, but they go with the Lee Sin jungle here for Move.
Puts a lot of pressure on his shoulders, or not pressure even, but has to work with the composition now. They know they're trying to get small picks depending on what they go with, and hopefully Move can facilitate a bit of that. Gragas ultimate's working out for him, so he's just going to kick it back in.
Yeah, the last time we saw Move play Lee Sin, it was week 1 against TDK, and a victory for them. Since then, we have not seen him play Lee Sin a single time. It looks like when the going gets tough, he's going to lock in Lee Sin. That gives over Ashe to Sneaky.
And the Janna, you were looking for that before.
Yep. A little bit of protection there, but Janna is amazing in this composition so far with your core that you have.
Yeah.
You have an Azir, well, keep them away from you. You have an Ashe, keep them away from you. Janna is perfect for this. This is disengaged composition here. If Cloud9 make it to objectives first, they keep you out of the pits. They hit you as you're trying to come in, and that's the dream here. But look at that. That is going to be a Fizz for Hauntzer or Keane.
Love how nonchalant that Gravity is taking this. You can see Bunny FuFuu sliding back and forth between his chair and Altec screen. Just kind of like, what do you want to pick? We're feeling pretty good here. We're in game 5. We got the endurance to do this. Let's keep our minds in a happy place as we enter into this grudge match here. Final picks for Cloud9. First Janna of the series coming through, along with the first Azir to be played by Cloud9. As you said, they get the Ashe now. Gravity's going to be playing the Tristana, so really the AD carries swapping their champions.
This is quite interesting too, because even though the AD carries have swapped champions, the Maokai's been banned and the Fizz has been taken away from Balls. Those are the two champions that Balls likes to flank your AD carry with. Does he have something else up his sleeve? Is he just going to go back to Gnar here and try to make plays like that, because he doesn't have that same type of champion available to him? And it has to synergize with this core that is all about, okay, there you go, protection.
Wow.
Is the name of the game here.
They go with the Shen. I remember back in the day, there's periods of time where Balls loves Shen and Balls just hates Shen. He's like, I don't feel like playing him. I guess it's one of those times where he's going to go back onto it, and it is going to be a great pickup for the team. We finally see that Elise coming back through, and it is going to be in the hands of Hai as he goes with another different jungle champion.
Yeah, no Kha'Zix, no Shyvana, goes for the standard Elise here, and it's a champion that Hai's been practicing in solo queue a bunch. I was wondering if he was going to bring it out here today. Finally gets locked in for him, but this is a team that's all about picks and disengaging, walking backwards as we're dealing damage, and protection. So Cloud9, even though you are a kite backwards composition, you need to get forward and then start kiting back, because otherwise you're kiting nobody backwards. You have to make them come to you.
12 seconds on the clock. Just thinking about side selection in this. Gravity put themselves on a side where they have to ban Kalista the whole time. They've gone through this best of 5, banning 2 people out. We've seen this Malphite Ashe recently as well, that over in Korea. Not very easy for the Ashe if Hauntzer can get to where he needs to be.
Well, is this going to be a Malphite top, or is it going to be a Keane AP Malphite mid?
That's true. Fizz also flexed to the top lane. It's finally one of the first times within this series Gravity is kind of playing that mind game here.
Yeah, I assume it's going to be a Malphite top, though. And just to get into the backline, to get onto the Azir. This team wants to kite you backwards. Well, you can't really kite the unstoppable force. You have to outplay it in like one big burst. Keane, though, this Fizz matchup into the Azir is a pretty good matchup for Fizz. Once he gets to a point where Azir has to respect him around level 3 onward, You always have to watch out for the level 6. Fizz has so many tools to get in on him.
So Keane putting himself on a pretty hard carry here to see how he can do on the Fizz versus now Incarnation's Azir. The crowd is ready. We've got some dancing going on here. Everybody's trying to stay that adrenaline pumping. You can see a sigh from above Dove there, and now it will be the final time these two teams walk off, facing off against each other. The coaches can do no more as the picks and bans are over, and this series hinges on this next game. Hit us up on Twitter. Tweet at LOL Esports. Use the hashtag C9win or the hashtag GVWin and support your favorite team here coming into the North American Regionals. One is about to move on, and one about to have their world's hopes dashed here in the Gauntlet. It's about to be Game 5, ladies and gentlemen. Cloud9 versus Gravity. Cloud9 once again on blue, Gravity staying on red. Both teams have pretty much exhausted all strategies here coming into Game 5. Let's see what they have to leave on the Rift.
One team goes home, doesn't attend Worlds, and the other one moves on to the semifinals to play Impulse.
Yep.
Which of these two is it going to be? And you said everybody's throwing their stuff down. We talked about how these teams were basically playing the same thing when they won. Both teams across the board, this is a unique champion for them in the series.
It's very true. Having to pull out all the stops here. Hopefully get under the skin of your opponent within that laning phase. Whatever team has been able to get the incremental, very small 1-2K gold lead has seemingly come up with the win in this series. Both teams being very calculated once they get that win and not putting themselves in a bad situation. Gravity, the deep wards once again, and they finally deter from just walking into the top side of the jungle here.
And Bunny FuFuu on your screen there, I believe he's the only repeat champion out of these 10 for anybody here. Had a Braum earlier in the series, but oh man, everybody just throwing their cards on the table saying, you know what, there's a strategy that we have to throw out there. We have to go back to what is working. The Azir freed up for Incarnation.
They almost worked through picks and bans and then took like what would be in like a blind pick. Like, what do I want to play? You know what I mean? Gotcha. Getting the Elise in, the Malphite, the Fizz, things you really wouldn't see. It's just a lot of comfort that nobody's going to target.
Rush is probably watching this series because he's the next round.
Yeah.
So he's either going to play against somebody who plays Lee Sin or somebody who plays Kha'Zix.
Kha'Zix, Shyvana, Elise.
But I mean, those are like his two champions, right? He's like, I love Lee Sin,
right.
I love
Absolutely.
Kha'Zix. One of these guys is going to have to face my own.
So true. We actually haven't seen an Evelyn out of these guys, so really kind of doing their own thing in the jungle throughout the series. Now to start it again, the same start from Gravity we had last game, 4 towards the bot side as well, with High and crew, High and Ball starting on the top side of the jungle.
No lane swap here. Nope. Going in level 2 to the top lane at first, so you get the camp faster. Hand it all over to High. It's a good start for him, too. He'll barely take any damage from this because the Spiderlings will tank it, so.
Nice having a Shen as well.
Oh, yeah.
Get that Vorpal Blade, get a little healing back. Never sucks. It's always good. Always good. Bit of CS for Incarnation in the mid lane as he tries to get to 2 a little bit faster, it seems. Bringing up those soldiers and clearing out minions. Oh. And sneaky in the bot lane. You see LemonNation hooked down to the brush a little too far. And that level 2 they get very nicely adds the damage over in favor of Gravity. Watch out for Keane here in the mid. Still, Incarnation pretty much does the same thing Gravity just did to Sneaky and LemonNation on the bot side.
Gotta watch out. Incarnation's been having a good series for himself. In the games that he was falling behind.
Ooh. That, Keane realizing definitely made a mistake there, falling down within soldier range.
Oh, I thought the mistake was giving him Azir.
This is true. This is absolutely true. I'm surprised to even see Azir in this best of 5 series get to anybody. I'm sure Keane wouldn't be getting it. Like I said earlier, with Gravity taking red each time, they've been forced on that Kalista ban, so they're kind of going through these with 2 bans, figuring out which better priority would be for those things.
Move, look towards the mid lane. So they can put some pressure onto this Azir. Used his W, so that's the time to go. He's not going to have his escape. High on the other side. Oh, almost.
That would have been big damage onto Move. No. They're going to keep going, actually. High repels in, gets a few auto attacks on. Volatile Spider. It's like Move tries to go in and take the damage on that one. Successfully does so. All of this, however, is really helping out Incarnation. Every so often getting another CS in the lead here, just on the 2nd or 3rd minion wave.
Yeah, if you can repel in and get that damage with no retaliation, that just sets up your mid laner even more. You get another potion out of the guy. He has to back a little earlier. So it's just these tiny little things that start adding up. Now he can't even contest minions at this point. If he does, he'll lose another chunk of his HP like that.
Not the first.
Another visit though, but Hai's already here. Hai is just camping the mid lane. And when we saw that big turnaround for Incarnation in the last few games in the split, it's when Hai came in and Incarnation started getting more resources, more attention.
Oh, the level 2 was won down here, but not anymore, it seems. Sneaky LemonNation fighting back, and to say, go on what you were just saying, when we saw that happen as well in the previous game, Bunny FuFuu would have been roaming mid by now. He would have been giving pressure to Keane. Not something to have yet. So that roam for Hai to the mid lane is really putting Incarnation ahead right now. Or 29-17.
Oh, what a, just going out.
2v2ing mid lane here. We have a new lane coming in here, game 5. I don't think Hai wants to leave as long as moved there, and there's really no reason. Soaking up experience on both sides.
It's kind of been the theme of the series, though. Saved for game 1, move. Spent a lot of time bottom lane. Now, he's been spending a lot of time mid lane, and they're adapting to that. Hai is just getting his counter gank on and getting some pressure onto Keane. Trying to force him out of lane. Make sure Incarnation has a good game. Oh!
Incarnation, I bet you the last 2 games, he's like, one of these days I'm going to run not a safety summoner spell. I'm going to get an Ignite kill. So close. Move actually could go down here. I don't even think the Q connected. That connected with a spider, so he doesn't have much if he even wants to go back in. I think he just got the cripple down, and Hai was able to toy with them. So Keane's already been forced to back down in CS, and he only comes back with another Doran's ring to pretty much sustain all of this beating that he's been taking so far. Incarnation with the Fiendish Codex. Very nice flip for him to be farming at.
I'm a little surprised that he went for the Fiendish into another Doran's. And so he has no consumables up against the 2 potions and the 3 flask charges from Keane. So Keane has a little bit of pressure in his lane over time. You'll start to see that manifest itself.
It's a good point. Incarnation can play it well if he doesn't get attacked, right? As long as you don't get hit.
All the damage is going to stick.
Sounds easy. Not as easy to make happen.
Yep. Keane basically gets to throw his life pool at Incarnation and trade it over and over again and whittle him down.
Not something you really consider. Like throw an ultimate out and then have move come in and be the finisher as well on that one.
Oh man, that potion advantage.
It's going to get him. Look at that potion disrespect. Oh, bottom lane, however, is actually getting a very big lead along with Incarnation's mid lane. Sneaky and LemonNation, even though they got hit out at level 2, very nice lead there of 10 CS in the bot lane.
Coming about.
As well as Hauntzer from that top side. I don't think he's going to fall too far through. Move knew that it was going to be a little too scary there. And they make their way out. Not a problem for him. Move able to now get himself in the face of Hai. This is something we saw Hai doing repeatedly for the past few games as Move was trying to gank lanes. Now he's back to a bit more invading.
And the rookie of the split definitely has his work cut out for him against the veteran. Old school guy of the jungle. Seems to still have it right now from High side. Oh, gotta watch out though. LemonNation off on the side. It is Janna.
Much less roam by Bunny FuFuu this game. You can see LemonNation and Cloud9 first off to it and really getting an advantage because of it. Pressure to the mid here. Don't think they should get too much damage on the turret. Maybe they do decide to stay.
They just have such a good lead here in the mid lane. I have 22 CS already at almost 8 minutes. They're just putting so much into Incarnation here, and it's paying off.
They have more information this game than they've really had any game. Move keeps showing himself mid. Hai has always been free to make moves off of that in previous games. You'd see him instantly go for more camps. And this time, Hai is using all that info to shut down anything Gravity's doing. The lanes are doing perfect. Why not hang out in mid?
Yeah, I talked about potion advantage. Keane doesn't get anything out of that. He's got nothing. He burned through all of them. Incarnation was scot-free with just a Doran's ring. Ended up playing out perfectly for him. He took no damage in the time that he had just gone.
Well, Cloud9 saw that he had some to share. If you have some to share, you bring a party.
Yeah.
Cloud9 just...
He brought some for everyone. You bought potions for everyone, Keane?
It does not look like Gravity is having any sort of advantage that they got in the early games of the series in games 1 and 2. Game 3 as well, the one they lost to Cloud9 first. They still had a bit of a lead towards that early part of the game, but only by a few hundred.
This just looks like Move and Keane are getting dismantled.
Absolutely.
This early game. Talk about Hai being on a higher pressure early game jungler. Well, he's definitely performing this game.
It shows in his CS as well. Pressure to champions instead of the minions. He'd be up maybe 5-10 CS at this point in the previous 2 games. Now he's actually below Move, but still making an impact.
Incarnation as well.
Yeah.
Only member of the
switch
Cloud9.
things up and adapt for you. The 5th game. Pretty great.
It's true. Cloud9, Incarnation is the only member of the squad that hasn't been to Worlds. And he's pulling his weight in this series so far.
It was questionable for the first few games. We saw what that pressure would do to him. You are absolutely correct. Really pulling out strong. Again, I don't know why he has Azir in the 5th game. That's for sure. Very interesting leave up. Maybe Keane thought he had the counter of what was going to happen, or they just put more focus on. Chum the Waters does hit. There's the kickback they were looking for. Emperor's Divide completely disrupts move, however. He can't get back in. High is there, no mana, but still staying in spider form. Could finish it off. Flashes in with the red buff as well to keep move in range. And High pushes. Keane now plays around the board once again, but it's finally first blood.
This duo, the synergy between Incarnation and High seems much higher than Move and Keane at the moment. They're just getting outplayed, outpressured in the jungle. And all High has to do is throw volatile Spiderlings, poke them out. And Keane is getting poked out as well, just from Incarnation.
High has been in the mid lane in just different capacities every time. Previously, he would walk in, help clear, you're good, you can back. This game, it's completely been for ganks. They are definitely switching up the strategy throughout the series here. Balls now in the top lane, doing very well, 94 to 83, and definitely going to be able to provide some tank in that fight as he gets a push with the Sunfire cape on, or I should say Bomby Cinder right now. They're going to be able to get more pressure on top.
Even with the pressure that Keane would be able to exert in a theoretical sense onto Incarnation's Azir, you still have Shen. You still have Shen Ultimate to back you up. This Fizz is going to have a miserable time, not just because he's behind, but because Shen stops you from 100 to 0ing people.
That's a really good point. I haven't even seen that be stopped yet.
And then there's Janna too, just another shield on top of everything.
Definitely going to be hard to stick to anything on the back line for Cloud9. Or I should say for Gravity on Cloud9.
A little too far forward.
That's going to be a Winter's proc. No, they don't get a final shot on. One more would have added quite a bit of damage actually, but they do not decide to. Would have maybe taken too much of their own as Incarnation picks up the blue. Look for that again in just a few minutes, but we'll see what he can do here in the mid lane. Does not have a turret to push anymore, so will he start to roam? Put some forward wards down. Looks like he's got 2 in the inventory to use up.
He's 1,000 gold up at 12 minutes.
On Keane?
Over Keane.
Jeez.
Incarnation is 1,000 gold up. He has the Stinger completed, Fiendish Codex, and boots. Fiendish Codex, Hidden Idol. And overall, they're 2.8 thousand gold up at 12 minutes. Cloud9 have a good foothold in this game at the moment.
Yeah.
Watch out, though. He doesn't have summoner spells. He does have ways out. Okay. And that's it. Move is just continuing to go mid lane over and over and over again. Ganking a Janna would be difficult.
30 CS down on Keane, which is another thing I was just thinking about is the Victor was completely passed up in this while still being open. Something that would have such an easy time clearing waves back at an Azir, but now he's forced to walk in and try to get lasered in the face.
Yeah, that's usually the push and pull that we see is somebody picks Azir, the other person picks Victor for wave clear, and also they can also blow up an Azir mid-late game. The problem is the range disparity. Azir's range compared to all other mid laners, while still having defensive tools, is immense. Like even look at a Xerath, Xerath has no way to gap close away, or to cap close away, create a gap. Have a move block away.
Close that gap with further space.
There you go.
We'll see where they decide to go from here. The sight wards are out, so wherever they do decide to go will be a bit safer. It doesn't look like anybody's had the courage to get those wards past the river just yet, though. You can see Cloud9's placed a kind of a turret ward in the mid lane to make sure they can see if Keane's
looking for money
and forcing. Did not expect that to happen as I look down at the mini-map, but Cloud9 is giving zero regard to their own safety right now. A little to boot play there for the Monsoon of LemonNation. Move wouldn't have done much, but he was just trying to add some more damage on. This turret goes down. High getting that gold.
And I think High has been a part of every turret kill, every turret takedown on the map. You pressured out mid, realized that was the place where they were going to get their little advantage. That's the dagger that they put in, and now he's going to other lanes to twist it. Went top, went bottom, got all those turrets. Even though they don't have the ward coverage to actually justify pushing up extremely far because they don't have coverage of the jungle right at the moment on the gravity side, Cloud9 are in a great position to start running away with the game and getting all of these dragons. So I talked about this composition is about kiting backwards. because they don't have too many forms of engage. They do have the arrow, they do have Shen, Flash, Taunt, and a Cocoon, but these are all pick things. But what this team wants to do is be stronger than you, kite backwards, because you want to contest them at a Dragon or contest them at a Baron, or else they get it.
Right. Hopefully, Altec's back in time. He's got about 2,300 gold to spend after dropping that turret. It looks like the team will be able to hold off Dragon for now. LemonNation's going to go ahead and set up Vision for Cloud9's side. But now coming back with the Infinity Edge and a few potions, Altec feeling much stronger. Sneaky also finished his Infinity Edge as well. But you see LemonNation starting that Zeke's Harbinger already, has a Glacial Shroud on. So that'll be a very big spike for them once it's finished. A lot of wards finally placed in. I said nobody had courage to place the deep wards yet, but Cloud9 has littered the side of Gravity here. They can see him coming in.
Global still available for Balls. Balls able to continue to push up the top lane. He knows he's safe because everybody is walking towards the Dragon.
Peel off, top side, teleports up on both. This also means that Balls can stand united down and then teleport back up if the play goes their way. Very weird movement by Move himself. Gets himself into a good spot, but he's not seen here, and he may be able to route the end of the fight. They have good engage on the side of Gravity that they see, but Move could now get the Sneaky immediately. He didn't expect him to be there. Sneaky gets kicked in, but away actually from the team of Gravity. Stand United comes through, and Cloud9 is able to pick up priority targets here. Now into Keane, dives through the team and cannot get a kill. The flash forward from Incarnation, and he Soldier arises to get a quick kill down onto Move. Nicely done, and they are going to keep moving on.
Cloud9 were down 0-2 in this series. If they go for the reverse sweep, that's going to be insane to keep their world stream alive.
That doesn't happen.
They can't.
Nobody reverse sweeps.
No, it does happen. It happens all the time.
And you know what is worse about the reverse sweep is being the team it's happening to, because you almost have that thought in your mind, this isn't happening. And then each fight that weighs that much more, and you hesitate, you second guess, things become very tough. It's really hard to play from behind, especially under this much pressure. Cloud9's been in these playoff situations before, I should say, playoff gauntlet situations to get their position. Usually, they're sitting at the top of the list a lot more. So this one they have to fight for a lot more.
It's true. This team does not want to miss out on their third consecutive Worlds appearance.
See how this one started. It was very... I was thinking Move was going to have a huge play here, but the team, I don't think, was expecting Sneaky to fly in, flash out.
They kept going for that play, though. They didn't have to continue that teleport.
Almost.
Keane had Playful Trickster afterwards, so
yeah.
he was able to gap or create space afterwards. Goes back in, and then Move. Taken out there at the end. Then they did not have to go for that afterwards. The arrow landed, but Keane would have actually been all fine.
Yeah. I don't know how fine the Gravity's going to be after that. 4-0 now. 0 kills were picked up by Gravity. They couldn't answer with anything. All they have is the bottom turret that Altec grabbed before that fight. And Cloud9 even came up with a resulting Dragon after the skirmish. So looking very good, getting a bit more gold and stats from that Dragon. We're going to see how they keep going. LemonNation very close to having that Zeke's done with another 500-600 gold in his inventory.
It's crazy how this best of 5 has actually pretty much been the story of Gravity's season. That arrow.
There's a lot of CC there. He did have a target to go to, can kind of put some damage onto LemonNation. I don't know if they keep focusing this. They have no vision that follows into the jungle, so they're going kind of deep here. And also, Move is coming around with Incarnation, so they're calling that, and they definitely need to assess the fight.
Yeah, Keane pushing mid, but at the same time, you have Balls pushing the bottom lane.
Yep.
Like I was saying, Gravity, this best of 5 is pretty much a representation of their entire season. They're up, they're on top of it, they're 2-0.
Yeah.
They're ready to keep going through. Hey, they're in first place in the regular split, and then things collapse.
Right.
Move, Keane, they don't seem on point, and then you see it there in these last few games. This game especially, Move has been exploited. Keane's pick in the mid lane not working out for him despite having counter pick, and they're punished for it.
Definitely a bit of figuring out from Cloud9 as well. We saw Gravity run the same type of composition, which is kind of a telegraph, right? Yeah, the fights are going to be the same when you're fighting a Gnar. You got to go around the bar. But when you have a Gragas as well trying to displace you, you don't want to approach that. You see Cloud9 over these last few games kind of just figure out the composition they're fighting against. And I guess Gravity this time said, we can't do that. We can't be read like an open book. Let's switch up a lot. And I think may have switched up too much at this point. These champions have worked for them before, but under such stress at Cloud9 with a 2-game lead, very tricky to kind of pull that out right now, get it to work.
It's true, and they haven't been able to get any more turrets after those 2 with the Tristana from Altec. They're looking for more advantages or ways to go back in this game. They're down 5,000 gold at 20 minutes.
Well, it makes it even harder when you reach turrets, right? Where's your wave clear, really? Keane can kind of drop on, sit on a wave, but that's it. That's pretty much C9's way of baiting out a fight. You see spawning on the left side. Nothing they have to go for, but could definitely put Gravity in a bad situation. Or even themselves. Yeah, there's a wombo combo to be had by Gravity here still. We kind of talked about them almost being out of the game, but they're not. Still very much in it. They just have to kind of hit everything perfectly. This is almost like what Cloud9 tried to do with the big Amumu all stacked onto something, stacked onto something. All those things need to hit for Gravity to make it work.
Get in there.
There's a few. This could be the pickoffs that they need, but here's the Shen ultimate. They could actually go down here. Bunny FuFuu, one more shot. Ball's able to get in with the Vorpal Blade and take him down. He's going to be tanky for a bit, but you don't have Incarnation. You don't have High for quite some time. Hauntzer and the rest of the team focusing very hard. Keane picks up a kill, but he's low and could be cleaned up here in the fight. High, 1v1 moves, 1v1 move right in front of the Raptor pit. That's Keane going down. We just saw how much resource it took for him to get a kill onto Balls, and now High keeps going with the team. This sounds just like the Baron call they had previously. Keep going up, keep going up. Now onto Hauntzer. They're going to take him down. There's no waves to be pushed here, so we'll see how Cloud9 cleans up after this.
Cloud9 can get whatever they want right now. They have the TP available, but they don't have mana bars too high. They could actually still attempt the Baron with the Azir, but they're going to back off of it. It's too risky. Dangerous. It's still only 21 minutes in the game. Nobody really has as much armor unless you get Balls in there with the TP. Oh man, Balls looks like he's going for the early Trinity Force as well. He wants that split push power. That'll definitely free them up on the side lanes. Yep. Give them a lot of pressure. Malphite can't stand up to that.
Seeing how these kills panned out. See it one more time. This actually leaves Cloud9. Everybody's getting a few kills here. It's going to be some good cash for Gravity to pick up if they can get a nice fight up here.
Yep, the arrow and then the exhaust coming down onto Altec saves LemonNation. They go on the Balls, they put a lot of resources into him, and nobody could really re-engage on the side of Cloud9 there.
That was a great jump.
Ends up getting Balls. And here's the part that I don't really understand. Move is already poked out of the fight. They start going towards the right side on bottom. Hauntzer looks like he's trying to peel for Incarnation. But because of that, it actually costs Keane and Hauntzer's lives.
Should be all right.
You just gotta let him go.
Yeah. Just gotta back off. It's very hard though, especially in these intense moments. Tense and intense. You make a split decision and sometimes it just does not go your way. 7 of those have gone the way of Cloud9 so far, 22.5 minutes into the game, as well as the laning phase. Balls taking down Hauntzer there, already looking at a 20-25 CS lead. About a 30 CS lead and more for Incarnation in the mid lane, his best of the series so far. Sneaky has kept himself strong on that Ashe after playing Trist after Trist game. Both AD carries have actually swapped each other's champions this game, and Altec is not finding the same results on Tristana. Can't get those Ashe arrows in the team has been relying on for engages.
Yeah, you saw the bottom lane being back and forth. He was trying to get explosive charges to find some type of advantage. Right. LemonNation's shield constantly. And this is not a Janna that was going to roam very frequently, but it kept Bunny FuFuu in lane, which was the objective of this bottom lane. Stop Bunny FuFuu from roaming and just make it a 2-on-2 skirmish mid lane over and over again because they kept winning it. Incarnation created his own advantage over Keane just by outplaying him and poking him over and over again. You can see that manifest in the Nashor's Tooth and the Rylai's Crystal Scepter already completed for Incarnation.
2 minutes ago as well, after that fight in the top lane that we saw extend, LemonNation finished the Zeeks, so that's even bigger now for Sneaky. We saw that a lot for Altec, but it wasn't built up for Altec when he had Ashe. Sneak is being used a lot differently here in the composition of Cloud9. But still the arrow.
It's true.
You never want to give that up. 24 minutes and a 6,000 gold lead is what Cloud9 is looking at. As we said, gold leads have not been given up this game as they reach past that certain point of pretty much just 1,000. And this is the biggest one we've had throughout the series. Keane trying to put down forward wards and keep the team in the game. Hopefully they can get a pick onto somebody here. They still have a composition that can work like that.
Yeah, they can still get the picks off.
This may be one.
Looking for him. Gets up sneaky.
Hey.
Oh, nice flash.
Oh no, the Shen! That's gonna be the last bit of damage. Keane again using all resources to try and get a kill, and he is completely thwarted by the quick fingers of Balls, and Sneaky calling for the help.
Talking about it earlier, it is a nightmare for Shen, or for Fizz,
For Fizz, you
when
can't
you
zero.
have to go to against a Shen and a Janna, and they both showed up.
Oh, that's just a nightmare. Was that a taunt? Did he taunt out so he actually got shot? He was trying to go for a jump taunt.
From the side.
Everything worked out in his favor anyways. Here comes Incarnation. They should be able to drop Bunny FuFuu. Altec says, thank you, Valiant Sir, for allowing me to get out safely. And Cloud9 is the one to start getting picks, even though Gravity was moving their wards forward. Unfortunate.
Yeah, you can't 100-0 somebody at any point on the map as this Fizz, and you saw right there, the global down from Balls, and then he globals back up to the top lane for another kill. This Shen working out majorly well for them. Move though, off on the side.
That's that global
If he
presence
steals
they
this
wanted.
Baron, it gets Gravity back in the game, but they are doing a great
Still
job.
have Chum the
off
Waters
side.
on Keane. It could be
You have
disruptive
to go
coming in
for
from
it.
the right. Oh, you're not going to be able to smite too much if you're not at the draw. Baron Pit kicked out, back over Emperor's Divide. Hauntzer is trying to do a little bit to help out his teammates. A very big I think I can situation from Gravity. They think they can keep fighting. Are they correct though? Altec with great shots on the outside as High tries to gun down for him, and he forces Altec over the wall. That means the DPS cannot follow through still. And again, well cordoned off and fought by Cloud9 in a tight spot.
Baron to Cloud9, 12-1 in kills. They are on match point to move on to the semifinals, get one step closer for their third consecutive appearance at Worlds. Cloud9 are in the driver's seat, 10K gold up right now. Arrow on to Altec, he
That's
blitzed too
gonna be
early!
the kill. That's all. Yeah, the cocoon actually hit Bunny FuFuu. I wasn't sure at first due to the overlap of the champions, but he does go down. It's still a resulting kill, and Altec actually hasn't left from the first engage that he was saved from by Bunny FuFuu. That was Bunny FuFuu coming up again to die saving him. Unfortunate here. Cloud9 is making everything work, fortunately, in their favor.
Cloud9, Incarnation, it all started with this Catalyst in the mid lane, and now everybody is grouping up around him. And you can see he keeps him off on the side. He gets right here, and then he sections this off perfectly.
So if you want Baron,
run past.
you do not get
can't
Baron.
even get there. And they don't have the damage here just yet. Altec will come in a second. They try to blow up Incarnation, but he has barrier. He's fine. Hauntzer ultis onto the side, and they don't have the damage there just yet. Even if they were there, Sneaky has Zeeks. They have all these things going in Cloud9's favor. They just have a massive gold advantage that is now ballooned to 12,000 gold off of that little start.
And you see the little plays from Hauntzer there at the end, flashing to get a Q killer, flashing to get those last kills. They are so hungry for something. Everything has been taken away from them, just inches away from happening. 13-1, and they've actually had Cloud9 blinking red health bars a lot, but Cloud9 is eking their way out of these fights, and that is one of the hardest ways to fight, because you always think you have that kill and then take one step too far. Cloud9 has been using that to a great advantage here. High seems to be a little too far out on this one, but look what Cloud9 is doing to the base while they're trying to fight High. He's still alive from the Stand United of Balls and could still be alive after this fight. Gets taken down by the ultimate of Hauntzer in the end. That cannot be used for a full group fight. Balls can't even be taken down.
Azir.
Soldiers over the wall as Incarnation continues the fight. LemonNation's going salami on the turret for the sneaky triple kill, and Cloud9 is now running over Gravity to the Nexus.
They'll get at least 2 inhibitors here. They'll take down this turret, they'll get this one, and then there's one open in the mid lane already. They might even be able to push for more. We'll have to see here. Both times in this game, you get an advantage, you snowball it. People have just taken the Nexus flat out, but they're going to get 2 inhibs, and they're going to back off.
What a crazy series of games, Zirene. Still super fast as well. When the team has a lead, they're doing something with it. We've had just over 30 average, or 30 plus average mid-games. Ridiculous, especially for Gauntlet to come in here where you're seeing both teams are kind of playing to not lose. These guys are just going at it.
This fight started off, they all jump onto him, but once again, you can't blow him up. Shen comes through, he repels. Keane doesn't even have the damage because he's behind. Arrow block by Bunny was nice, but at the same time he's still stunned, and Move gets chunked out by Incarnation. and the fact that Zeke's was on at that moment.
It takes them so long just to take down one of the Cloud9 members at this point.
Oh yeah, they just don't have the damage output.
Right.
This is a 2-threat composition. It is all Keane and it is all Altec. And Keane is 1 and 5.
Imagine if you had a Chaos Storm and a Victor Laser to throw through that choke right there. That would have been painful. But we can all imagine and dream. It's okay.
Why do you do this to us, Riv? It could have been so good. He's down 75 CS in the mid lane.
It just was not Keane's game. Hey, you know
Pulse went over the wall.
High in Incarnation made sure that was happening. Yeah, he's really tanky. Just look how tanky he is. Takes about every ultimate / skill in the reels coming out from Gravity, and they're still able to take him down. A double kill coming in for Sneaky. That's a kill already for Incarnation on the fight as High picks one up for himself. Everybody's getting their hands in this one.
They're going to go for game.
Hauntzer is going to be back in the mid lane. He's not going to be able to help this one. Cloud9 looks to be going for the win here. Push themselves on to face Impulse as well in the Gauntlet, and they are able to come back from the 2-0, or I should say 0-2 that Gravity put them in, to go 3-2 versus Gravity in the first Gauntlet game of the North American Summer Split. Cloud9 are moving on to take on Impulse.
All split long, people have been asking, are Cloud9 back? It's a different Cloud9, and now, in the regional qualifier, we are seeing glimpses of Cloud9, and they are almost completely back to form here.
Sighs of happiness from Cloud9, and they had to be earned after the first few games. It was looking very, very grim. The picks to come out and the shots to be called, really bringing them to victory here. That Kha'Zix game in the mid lane, Azir for the 5th game. Still unsure how that got through.
Yeah.
But it got through, and you could see that guy wasn't there all game. And you saw how dominant the game was when Azir wasn't in it.
Azir is just so hard to handle, and all mid laners are practicing him.
Absolutely.
Incarnation, there was a reason that was banned the first 4 games, and that they first pick it when it's left up. No hesitation on that pick as well.
Nope, they said have the Braum, take it. We wanted that as long as that wasn't up. The bans switched as well. A bit of the Lulu switching over. Didn't see the Elise till the last series. Cloud9 was kind of pulling out their new strategies and saying, we may not have more, we may not, but they did. They still had picks that they could go for.
That was one of those situations where you look at Gravity's pick and ban, you look at Gravity in the game, and you have to sit there and go, it looks like they outfought themselves. That they were fighting themselves in the champions, like saying, okay, you know, we need to ban something else. It's not working out. Let's just drop the Azir, when the Azir ban was really working for them. And then in the game, you saw it all throughout the laning phase, that Azir was something you should not have let through.
Nope. Actually, let's see how all of that impacted Azir as well. Let's bring up this 15-minute mid-lane replay. This is really where the game kind of opened up for Cloud9. They were pretty much able to take the fight after this. And you'll see right here on your screen, High setting up. They were getting ready to clear something, but just push up into Gravity after this.
Yeah, the arrow onto Keane. He still had Playful Trickster, and then he uses it immediately afterwards. You see him flop away. And then it's like, oh, we are actually fighting. Hauntzer ulties the backline onto Sneaky, but then they immediately turn onto him, and Incarnation pushes people into the wall, making sure that they get off of Sneaky. And look at Sneaky's position now. How did he get there? He got all the way to the left side. He's completely out of harm's way. They pick him up, and then Incarnation playing the backline perfectly. When we were seeing him play Azir earlier in the split, he was not setting up fights appropriately. He was not having his soldiers up. And in these fights, it was definitely showing a mastery of that champion.
Looking at the Gravity composition again, you look at it and you're like, this is going to be great. Malphite jumps in. You have Fizz to jump in as well. When the fight gets too chaotic for the other team, Tristana can jump in and keep picking up kills. But the whole time, they all looked at jumping into a group of soldiers that were already in the middle of the fight. And then the disruption of, you saw the Malphite pop up and then move kicking, the team really wasn't ready for that. Keane was like, oh, there's Ashe, and instantly Sneaky flashed away. It was very disruptive there for how they wanted to use it. Like we said, they had the Wombo combo, and it sounds great, but it looks great on paper. It's just hard to do.
Yeah, it's very hard to do, and they shut down Keane in the laning phase with the Azir, and then the fact they had Shen, Janna combined with it, he's never going to get a kill outside the laning phase. If you don't do well in lane, which they wanted him to, they put so much into having Keane do well. He was shut down by Incarnation and High side by side, which made a very devastating duo here.
Yeah, it was a much different game to see High in the mid lane a lot more this time along, shutting down move, knowing where he is and making the right calls. And As we were talking about him, Incarnation really did stand out today and claimed our Player of the Series honor. He had some clutch plays on Victor and Azir to help Cloud9 successfully pull off the reverse sweep and keep their shot at a miracle run alive.
It could still be Cloud9 wins, Cloud9 0 from here on out. The first 2 games, maybe they were washed like Trashy was saying, but Incarnation's performance in all 5 of these games was actually spot on. You saw those last 2 games, the Orianna, the Victor, and the Azir here for him in those last 3 games.
Yep.
Amazing play across the board. When he was blowing up Keane's Victor, then he got the Victor himself, and then just that Azir abuse in the mid lane. This guy has definitely stepped up his game, and we hearing Jat talk about it, and we were hearing myself, I guess, talk about it at the start of the day, where this guy, he had a really rough start to the season. He was not the guy that everybody thought he was going to be coming straight out of solo queue. But then after some time, he's been refined. He has some of the highest CS differential at 10 out of all mid laners in the league, and he's definitely turning into a different type of mid laner here in the NALCS.
Well, we'll see how Cloud9 does as they move on. Like we said, they're facing off against Impulse, but right now we're going to toss it over to